after Sherri beat Moolah, that's when she did become Sensational Sherri. And she held that title for 15 months. However, most of her matches weren't televised. They weren't televising most women's matches. So I believe she won it on a non-televised house show, and she lost it on a non-televised house show, which is crazy. Like, because today, like occasionally, like once every 5 years, they'll do that, but not with like what would be considered a main title now. It's more like, I was gonna say the 24/7 championship, but that doesn't exist now. But like,
Thrown in the trash live. Well, she
yeah,
tried to throw it in the trash, throw it on the ground or like it.
yeah.
What was
Um,
the last time a title changed hands on a house show? Wasn't it AJ and somebody with Kevin Owens maybe? The US title when they were at MSG
I
a
thought
few
it might
years.
have been with Seth Rollins, but yeah, it was the US title, I think.
No, it was definitely AJ. I just can't remember who it was against.
Could it have been Seth Rollins?
I don't
Maybe.
think I really want to say it's when Kevin Owens had it.
It might have. I just, I don't know. I just have a picture of Seth Rollins in my head and the crowd going like, "Bah!" But it's Seth Rollins and he kind of does that anyway. So
It could have been either one of them. I don't remember. I feel like the timeline is from when Owens had it, but it could have been Seth too. I don't know. Probably one
yeah,
of them. I know it was somebody I liked, so it could have
yeah,
been either one of them.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that's basically the only time you see, and it's usually like it's not like a podunk town. It's like Madison Square Garden is where it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember ever really seeing like women's matches when I was a kid. Like most of the time the women were just like a valet or a manager.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. Like I didn't even realize that it happened at the house show, which is weird because like I had gone to house shows when I was little too, and y you didn't see women's matches even when I was a kid, like downtown. I mean, it was a little like rinky-dink hall that maybe fit like 500 people, if that. Like it was a very tiny space where they had them, but they didn't do them there.
Yeah.
I went to several from the time I was like 5 until I was like 12. And no, it was always just men's matches.
Yeah, in 1989, Sherri realized that they were really starting to phase out women's wrestling, and so she made the switch to being a manager, to seeing what she could do there. There was an interview that she did not long before she died where she was talking about how the men liked working with her because um when she would pop in would be when they needed like a break. Like she was like, I was never trying to steal all the spotlight. It was just trying, and I was just like, this had to be what it was like being a woman wrestling or like managing back then. Like, I'm just here, guys, to like, give you a little break, catch your breath. Don't mind me, you know. Um, but yeah, she worked with a lot of people. She also had a brief stint where she played Peggy Sue to Honky Tonk Man, which I would not have. I don't even remember hearing of a character named Peggy Sue. You might know,
No, what year was that? Because I don't
like
really,
89, 88, 89.
I mean, that would have been either like right when I first started or right before it. Because I know I was in preschool, and for preschool for me was 89 into 90.
Okay.
So I might have just missed that because I only remember her as scaring the ever living shit out of me. Um, I was terrified of her when I remember her with Macho Man, and like most of my memories of the kid, her with Macho Man and her with Shawn Michaels, because obviously she sang like the original theme was her before
Mm-hmm.
they changed it.
Yeah. And yeah, when she was with Macho Man, she became Sensational Queen Sherri because, well, when he won King of the Ring, right? That was, yeah. And what's cool is like when I looked into more of her matches, she had quite a few like big time matches. Like she was at WrestleManias and like intricate parts of storylines. She also she wrestled at WrestleMania in a mixed tag match with Randy Savage against Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire. And Sapphire was not a trained wrestler. So poor Sherri had to do her best to make sure that Sapphire like looked like she knew what she was doing. She was basically Bret Harting it. She was just like, gotta make you look like you know what you're doing. One of the most famous things that Sherri is known for is when her and at WrestleMania, again, a different WrestleMania, when she turns on Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania, and Miss Elizabeth comes in, and I think that's one of the few times we see Miss Elizabeth like really get physical, isn't it?
That I remember. I feel like that's the first time I remember her getting like involved like that. And I feel like it's the first time I remember her wearing pants and not like a dress.
Yeah. Yeah, like I wasn't watching at that time, but whenever they show clips, that's the big change. Suddenly there's pants on her, probably because she was about to go kick some ass.
Well, yeah, she had to jump from like the crowd because she was sitting in the crowd and get in the ring, and
Mm-hmm.
then the whole famous like up on the shoulder thing, and
Yeah.
and grown men and women were crying, children were crying.
I think so again, when I was researching, there was a story that Sherri told about like when they told that they were going to be getting split up. Liz and Randy came to her with a gift, like the little box, and it was a Phantom of the Opera mask, like as a necklace with a diamond in it, because she was like painting her face then. And like this is the interview I watched was probably one of, if not the last interview she ever did in her life. And she said, like, she that meant so much to her. She still has, and she's like, I will have that till the day I die. And from all accounts, she truly did. She that meant a lot to her because she had a really good friendship with them. And she said, like, Randy actually really helped get her through a really bad divorce that she was going through. Because he said that she wore like rose colored glasses, like she just saw the best in everyone in every situation and wasn't taking care of herself.